welcome. This week, the 7th week, in the 4th lecture today, let us talk about nature based solution as far as the urban infrastructure is concerned. In the last class, we discussed about several nature based climate solutions that deals with the FLU sector, agriculture, forest and other land uses. So, today we are going to talk about urban infrastructure. In terms of urban infrastructure, the concepts that we are going to cover are the various benefits in terms of nature based benefits as far as the sustainable cities are concerned. So, we will discuss about nature based solutions and climate benefits for sustainable cities. We will try to quantify, we will try to understand how it is quantified in terms of the cooling potential of the nature based solutions to mitigate the UHI, or you say the urban heat island effect. So, a graphics we have taken from the Bhopal city that will be used for our discussion. The third is we are going to see that how when the blue green infrastructure is integrated with the gray infrastructure, how it gives a optimal benefit as far as the cities or the city sustainability is concerned. We will also discuss about the cooling strategy, the various cooling strategies the urban areas receive because of this nature based climate solutions. We will also discuss about the green freight logistics and active transport encouragement. So, these are some, we will talk about some key strategies and the benefits, particularly in terms of the active transport sector and also the green freight logistics sector. Then towards the end we will also discuss about the active transport in terms of green and shaded urban infrastructure. So, let us discuss about the various benefits as far as the nature based climate solutions they offer for the sustainable cities. On the left hand side, I have listed the various nature based solutions options or nature based solutions for climate benefit. So, one is we can just read it out and explain that, means understand that in terms of green roofs, green walls, and this green down means green color, but it necessarily means the vegetation or the plant material that looks green because of the chlorophyll pigment. The urban forest, green spaces, biophilic design. So, how you integrate the green or how you integrate the green vegetation or green material in our design in terms of that we put it under biophilic design. Urban agriculture, natural ventilation, passive design, biomimicry and also the smart green infrastructure. All this will fall under the nature based climate solutions as far as the cities are concerned towards sustainability. The second is what are the benefits are received because of implementation of these nature based solutions. The first is energy efficiency. The moment we go for the execution of these nature based climate solutions, the benefits we receive are energy efficiency, carbon sequestration, because that also these vegetation they also do a lot of sequestration of carbon from the atmosphere. They also do regulate temperature through process of transpiration or evaporative transpiration loss. Then the storm water management, air purification, also it contributes to increase in the biodiversity. We put different aesthetic plants here and there, and improvement of human well-being and creation of a livable and healthy city. So, these are the list of benefits we receive because of execution of the nature based solution, or you say the nature based climate solution in cities. So, nature based solutions includes initiatives such as green roofs, urban forest, green walls and smart green infrastructure, which can mitigate the urban heat island effect, improve energy efficiency, regulate temperature, manage they do manage storm water, because we will see in our next class, that means week 7 lecture 5, we will see how they also hold, or in terms of percolation they say they do little delay in terms of the water falling or reaching to the ground, and thereby reducing the soil erosion, and in many other ways they also manage the storm water in terms of this, and then enhance biodiversity and also create more livable and healthy cities. The reference is also mentioned in detail at the end, and let us take them one by one in terms of the green roof and walls. So, incorporating vegetation such as plants, various kind of shrubs and trees on rooftops and vertical surfaces, also along the vertical surfaces if we take, then this provide insulation from temperature, from temperature, from air pollutants point of view, and also thereby they also offer natural cooling and also various biodiversity benefits. The biophilic design, this in terms of help in terms of connecting the building occupants with nature by incorporating natural elements, materials and patterns into the built environment, such as indoor plants, natural lighting and views of green spaces to improve well-being, productivity and energy efficiency. So, all these things you get an aesthetic effect, you get good air, or air is getting purified, and it also contributes to productivity in terms of the carbon fixation and also energy efficiency, because lot of cool spaces are what you say evaporative or transpirative what you say water loss leads to a kind of gives a kind of cooling effect. And then the third one is urban agriculture. It is in the similar principle. In the cities, the rooftop gardens, community gardens and vertical farming, if they are arranged in a vertical space, that is also good, because you can what you say use that space to contribute, and this all they contribute to climate neutrality by promoting local food production, reduced food miles, mitigating an urban heat island effect, and thereby providing opportunities also to a kind of food security and social cohesion. So, these are very important, and let us move on to next point with respect to nature ventilation and passive design. So, this nature ventilation and passive design focus on optimizing natural ventilation and reducing the reliance on mechanical cooling and heating systems by incorporating features such as operable windows, shading devices and building orientations, and natural ventilation can maximize, reduce energy consumption and enhance occupant comfort. Biomimicry. This biomimicry similar to the previous one what we discussed here in terms of biophilic design. In similar context, the biomimicry involves drawing the biomimicry draws inspiration from nature's designs, various processes as far as nature is concerned, and also systems to develop sustainable solutions for building. Thereby it emulates the nature's efficiency and resilience, improves energy efficiency, optimizes the resource use and enhance the overall performance of urban buildings. Next, move on to the smart agriculture infrastructure. In terms of smart agriculture infrastructure, when we integrate the smart technologies and the green infrastructure in buildings, including sensor networks, real time monitoring and automation systems, they all optimize energy use, water management and resource efficiency in buildings. So, let us take an example as far as the quantification quantifying the cooling potential of the nature based solutions to mitigate the urban heat island effect, and the graphics or the map is shown for Bhopal city. So, nature based climate solutions, they help in limiting the thermal gains of built surfaces and thereby reduces the surrounding temperature by creating a cooling effect, this all know. Now, the cooling effect of urban green area, how it is calculated? It is calculated by identifying the cooling effect distance, so abbreviated as CED, and the cooling effect intensity, which is abbreviated as CEI. So, if we calculate the cooling effect distance and cooling effect intensity, then the cooling effect of that urban green area can be calculated. Further, this CED and CEI can means they are the CED and CEI calculated are compared for different landscape characteristics of the various green, or you say urban green areas, in terms of various shapes, size, patches and vegetation features. So, they are used for calculating in a comparison way in terms of the cooling effect. So, the mitigation potential of the urban green areas is quantified in terms of the CED and CEI, and the map shown is for the Bhopal, where you can see the green area, the water bodies and Bhopal, and the boundary, particularly the outer boundary of Bhopal city. Let us move on to the blue green infrastructure in a city with and without. So, on the left side there is a depiction that talks about the absence of blue green infrastructure, and on the right hand side it is integration of the blue green infrastructure. So, as we know, green infrastructure they in terms of they help in terms of expanding urban parks. So, in terms of urban parks we put lot of vegetation, green roofs, so rooftops are put in terms of vegetation. Urban forests are created wherever space is available or space should be demarcated for creation of the urban forest. So, these all they counter the heat island effect and improve the air quality in the principle of nature based climate solution. On the left hand side we have the absence of BGI approach, blue green infrastructure approach. We can see the airborne pollutants, the water limited within canals, the limited access to green spaces, urban heat island effects, and on the lower part we can see low infiltration and low groundwater recharge, whereas on the next one is high and fast runoff. In contrast, in the same cityscape or the part of the city when we are incorporating the we are integrating the blue green infrastructure, we can see because of this the natural cleanness process, cleansing processes or cleaning of the natural processes happens. So, in contrast to urban pollutants where in the without situation. And now, the water retention and recycling, as we put lot of green infrastructure or blue green infrastructure, then it helps in water retention and also in recycling the water faster. And the canopy interception and evaporation, when we plant the trees around the vacant space, what happens? The interceptions happens on the canopy. So, that is why I just mentioned it helps in terms of enhancing the time as far as the water droplets falls on the earth surface. So, thereby it also controls the soil erosion, and here in particularly because of the canopy interception, the evaporation or other benefits gives, and this leads to deep infiltration and high groundwater recharge, which was not happening without incorporation or presence or integration of blue green infrastructure. So, in contrast, if we put the plants there within the cityscape space, it helps in terms of deep infiltration and high groundwater recharge. So, designing streets with trees and vegetation for shade, cooling microclimates and filtering the pollutants. So, the city roads should be designed that both sides you should have the trees and vegetation, so that we will get the shades. The shades also will give lot of cooling in terms of giving microclimate. So, wherever within the city space we have vegetation or this blue green infrastructure, we expect lot of microclimates having a relatively cooling effect or cooler climate. And also it helps, this blue green infrastructure helps in terms of filtering the pollutants. Creation of vertical gardens, green roofs and restoration of urban water bodies, particularly lakes and wetlands, they also reduce the urban heat island effect. Let us try to understand in terms of the urban cooling strategies. So, as we know, the green roofs and the vertical walls, these integrate the vegetation on building envelopes, provide crucial insulation that reduces building heat absorption and lower the ambient air temperature. So, vertical greenery can reduce surface temperature by 11 degrees centigrade. It is not a joke actually. So, if we cover the wall, the building walls, or you see the in terms of vertical gallery, what does it mean? That means we have the tree which grows up to that kind of vertical height, and also if you can put lot of green along the vertical space, then it can reduce the surface temperature by up to 11 degrees centigrade. It's really huge, and it will help in terms of our economy, because lot of money we are putting towards running our air conditioners and refrigerators. And coming to urban water bodies in terms of blue infrastructure, restoring lakes, rivers and wetlands provides cooling through evaporation. Large water bodies can create a cooling effect extending up to 800 meter away, reducing local temperature over 3 degrees centigrade. Look at this in terms of blue infrastructure. If you have the presence of large water bodies, then the cooling effect can go up to 800 meter away. So, in terms of buffer, it may reduce, or it goes up to reducing the temperature or the local or the ambient, the local, or you say the microclimate. You say cooler microclimate, lowering the temperature by over 3 degrees centigrade. Coming to the urban trees and parks, acting as natural air conditioners, parks and trees canopies reduce temperatures by up to 5 degrees centigrade through shade and by releasing moisture into the air. Passive design and materials, using high albedo materials, coral roofs, the cool roofs and permeable pavements, these allows to lower the surface heat absorption. So, in terms of trees, particularly in the urban park areas and trees, they act as natural conditioners and they reduce temperature up to 5 degree through shades. And here passive design and materials, if we use in terms of cool high albedo materials, just put the high albedo material. Sometime what we do during summer time, we put the white coating, so that lot of sunlight gets reflected back. So, in sense we get a cool roof. So, these kind of things also lowers the surface heat absorption, because we allow lot of this radiation to be reflected back. So, these are various strategies as far as the urban cooling is concerned through the principle of nature based solutions. Now, the benefits in terms of the climate benefits and the impacts, as we already discussed, strategic blue green infrastructure can decrease indoor temperatures by 3 to 5 degrees centigrade. It can increase the energy efficiency by an average of 20%. So, health and environment, increased green spaces provide mental health benefits, improve air quality and enhance the urban biodiversity. So, what happens if we need to realize the maximum benefit or the optimum effectiveness, we need to combine this. So, place the green infrastructure along the side of water bodies, or you say the blue infrastructure, so that the maximum the optimal cooling corridors can be created. So, blue means green infrastructure surrounded by blue. So, if you have water bodies surround it, around that we should go for plantation. So, that helps us in getting optimal cooling effect. So, that is the cooling strategy should be, and you can say in this way you can also come out with or generate optimal cooling corridors, particularly along the canals. It is a very good example along the wetlands, along the ponds, along the river stretches or many other drainages. In terms of the green freight logistics and active transport encouragement. Now, look at this, the logistics, particularly the logistics from the freight point of view, should also be green. Then the transport, the active transport mechanism has to be encouraged in terms of two critical components. It has to be sustainable and it has to be low emission. So, low emission and sustainable. This transport, active transport, they focus on reducing the environmental, climate and health impacts of moving good and people through technology, policy and infrastructure improvements. Strategies under the national logistic policy that encourage environmentally friendly and sustainable freight management. So, this green freight refers to adoption of sustainable practices to move goods, focusing on reducing the carbon emission, optimizing the energy efficiency and reducing environmental health and climate impacts. The depiction you can see in terms of walk or cycle, you go for a share riding, use public transport, choose some green vehicles, that means the vehicle that are using green fuels, hydrogen and CNG and those kind of things. So, promotes cycling and walking, which are inherently low emission forms of transport that can be enhanced by green shaded urban infrastructure. Now, let us move on to the key strategies and benefits that are realized out of this. The key strategies are fleet modernization. So, adopting electric trucks, hydrogen powered heavy duty vehicles and hybrid fleets, these all reduce the dependence on diesel. So, this is one important point. So, we need to move to different you say green fuel. So, electric trucks, hydrogen powered heavy duty vehicles and hybrid fleets. So, they reduce the dependence on the fossil fuels. This is we need to work in terms of modernizing the fleet, modernizing the fleets in the principle of nature based climate solutions. The second, route and load optimization, utilizing AI powered software to minimize fuel consumption, avoid congestion and reduce empty miles. For example, maximizing the truck load capacity. So, maximizing the truck load capacity, we need to use the artificial intelligence powered softwares to minimize the fuel consumption. We can also avoid the congestion, because if we are avoiding congestion, then our speed can be fast and we will not waste lot of our fuel to burn in that congested traffic. So, this actually will help in terms of the key strategies for as far as the green freight logistics is concerned. Coming to the third is the intermodal transportation, shifting road based freight to rail or inland waterways, which are generally more energy efficient. So, if we shift the intermodal transport, particularly in terms of road based to rail or inland waterways, so that also will be helpful because they are more energy efficient in comparison to the surface transport. It is always there. So, very soon we need to shift from dependence on the surface water based transport to rail and more importantly the inland waterway based transport. The 1, 2, 3, then the fourth one is with respect to eco friendly parking. In terms of parking also, if we use the biodegradable or recycling materials and optimize the parking design to reduce the shipping weight. In terms of the sustainable warehousing, we can install the solar panels using the LED lighting and employing smart cooling systems to reduce the energy consumption in logistics centers. So, this is also one of the solutions, and also we can reverse the logistics in terms of implementing product take back programs, refurbishing and recycling to foster a circular economy. Friends, many of these do fall under the nature based solutions, but many of them also also suffix or add to the nature based solution so as to realize the maximum benefit in terms of giving the green freight logistics. So, what are the benefits in terms of the climate or the climate related benefits? What we get, it helps in terms of reduction in the carbon footprint. So, direct reduction of the greenhouse gases and the air pollutants are observed or can be attended by this. And second is cost saving. Improved fuel efficiency and optimized operational results in lower long term logistic costs. So, this cost saving is very important because that saved cost can be directed towards many other purposes where the green infrastructure investment is needed. And coming to improved brand reputation, companies enhancing their sustainability profile, they gain competitive edge to meet consumer demand for eco-friendly practices. Let us move on to the shaded urban infrastructure. In continuation to this, what are the benefits of this active travel? Friends, we know that environmental, health and socio-economic benefits in terms of zero emission at point of use, reduces the traffic congestion and improves the urban air quality. Health, daily active commuting significantly lowers the risk of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes and cancer, this while improving the mental health. So, socio-economic aspects are also there. So, importantly, in terms of the active travel benefits, the zero emission at point of use and reduction in traffic congestion and improvement in urban air quality are three important benefits we receive as far as the climate is concerned. So, that falls in the principle of climate adaptation and mitigation. Now, the next is what are the components? We all know the components in terms of green shaded infrastructure. They are the tree canopy cover, the separated active lanes. If you come out with a dedicated and separated bicycle lanes, where many of the countries, developed countries, they have separate lanes for the bicycle and for the pedestrians. So, that helps and encourages the cyclists or bicyclers and the pedestrians to go for cycling or go for walk, because it gives a buffer, you avoid the vehicular traffic. Vegetation buffer. So, if we can use various hedges or bushes, planters and bio waste as buffers between the pedestrian areas and the roads, this also helps manage the stormwater and filter the air pollutants. So, this also in the sense attends to the problem of stormwater management and also the air pollutants as far as the cities are concerned. Coming to the green corridors, designing interconnected green networks that link residential, commercial and public transport hubs. Impact on adoption. Studies show that street greenery positively impact the active travel by enhancing aesthetic appeal, increasing perceived safety and providing a more comfortable and cooler environment. So, this in terms of combined impact. So, when you integrate the green freight, particularly reducing the heavy vehicle impact, the active transport in terms of promoting personal mobility in city planning, often referred to as the green transit oriented development. This is also called as the green TOD, abbreviated for the transit oriented development. They create healthier, quieter and also the quiet, that means we address to the noise pollution here. So, more and more quiet environment also contributes to good mental health. So, it creates a healthier, quieter and more livable urban environment. So, these strategies help align with global goals of sustainable development in terms of realizing the climate actions. And we have referred to these three literatures in the initial slides, and many of these Many of other things have been picked from other resources and which are of very general and how to say distributed in nature. So, to conclude, we have discussed importantly the quantification term as far as the cooling potential is concerned. We also discussed about the positive effect of the blue green infrastructure in contrast to only gray infrastructure. So, that means the rule is we should integrate more of the blue green infrastructure into the gray infrastructure in the cities. We also try to discuss about the cooling strategies and the freight logistics. So, various ways how we can address the freight logistics in turn generating or encouraging an active transport. And we also try to discuss that active transport in terms of green and shaded urban infrastructure. So, the take home message is if we practice nature based solutions in the cities, then the cities can be more sustainable in terms of a cooler city, that means temperature will be less or lesser than so urban heat island will be reduced, the pollution will be attended, stormwater management will be attended, biodiversity value will increase, it will give us a healthier and healthy in terms of both mental wellness and also a quieter environment. So, these are the benefits of the nature based climate solution. We must adopt and try to mitigate so as to realize the benefit of a dream of a sustainable city. Thank you very much.